Rod Blagojevich is accused of serious charges, like using his power to shake down businesses and political opponents and trying to sell off the Illinois Senate seat vacated by President Barack Obama. But he says he's innocent, and he offers his side in his brand new book called The Governor. Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich and his wife Patti join us now. Rod, Patti, good to have both of you here. Thank you, Patti. Let me get right to one of the, to me, major questions I think that a lot of people have. The connection that existed between you, Rahm Emanuel, the White House Chief of Staff, and Barack Obama. Was there communication and conversation that was going on about the Senate seat when Barack Obama resigned to become president?
Yeah. Well, Mike, I write about it, a lot of that in the book. I talk in detail about my decision to pick a United States senator. And if I could, as I look at your audience, I just want them to know I did nothing wrong. These are false accusations. When I was accused of attempting to sell a Senate seat for financial gain, and the prosecutor said he was stopping a crime spree before it happened, he mutilated the truth. The truth is upside down. The very day before, the morning before, I directed my chief of staff to work out the tactics on what was a routine political deal. And he was working with Rahm Emanuel and others, leading Democrats. Harry Reid and I had conversations about this. Senator Menendez from New Jersey and I had conversations. He was offering his help. My senior senator from Illinois, Senator Durbin, had offered to help on this deal where I would appoint the Attorney General of Illinois, Lisa Madigan, whose father was my political nemesis. But in exchange for that, yes, there was a deal, but the deal was a public works bill. I know you support that. That would create jobs, 500,000 jobs for working people.
So this was, I mean, it was a quid pro quo in essence. He had to support the bill, then his daughter would get the Senate appointment.
He had to pass the bill. And
prior to the appointment?
Prior to the appointment, because they didn't trust him.
And who all knew this? Did Emanuel know that? Rahm Emanuel?
Rahm Emanuel was the one, as I write in the book, that I wanted to negotiate the deal with the Madigans, because he's the kind of guy, he's a rough and tumble kind of guy who knows how to get, you know, a good political deal done.
Did he agree to do that?
He was talking and involved with us from the very beginning. He and I had discussions, and he spoke with my chief of staff and was doing the right thing. He was trying to get a senator that they wanted, but he also was going to be part of a process that would put 500,000 people to work, expand health care to 50,000 to 300,000 working families, and a written guarantee, Mike, which you'll like, not to raise taxes on people for the remaining two years of my term.
Now, that was the other end of the deal, but the reason you were going to bring Menendez and Durbin into this and Harry Reid was because they had decided that they wanted Lisa Madigan for her electability in the upcoming re-election Senate. Is that understanding?
That's right. It's such a pleasure talking to you, Mike, versus regular media, because they don't understand the intricacies of politics. You're a former governor, and you understand how things work. If you want to get things done, and of course Chicago's a different place in Illinois than maybe Arkansas, but in Chicago you just can't do the right thing.
You do have a reputation in Chicago, Rod, about the politics of the city.
Well, yeah, that's true, and I consider myself, frankly, the other side of that. When I would try to approach some of these big Democrats in Illinois to do the right thing for people, they just couldn't do it. There always had to be something in it in terms of what they wanted. So
there were some people that weren't exactly doing the right thing that you did have associated with. Tony Rezko, for example.
Yes.
And this connection very close, in fact, probably a deeper connection to Rezko and Barack Obama.
Yes.
Tell me how that relationship worked out. You, Rezko, Obama. Rezko's in prison right now.
Yes, well, two things. First of all, on that Senate seat, just so your audience knows, there are taped conversations. They've taped all of our phones. Now, the accuser accused me by taking snippets of conversations out of context, said I was selling it for financial gain, this is effing golden, I'm not doing this for nothing, and all the rest. They don't give you the full context. Now the irony is the very accuser who said those things and had me arrested and led to a process that had me removed wrongfully from office went to court and won't allow all of those tapes to be heard. I want all those tapes to be heard. You'll hear the whole truth. Now, one of us is lying here, and it ain't me. And the tapes will tell you what the truth is. With regard to Rezko, I write in my book, of course I've made some misjudgments. We all do. We're only human. And to err is human and to forgive is divine. I made mistakes. I didn't know he was the person that he turned out to be, as President Obama didn't know he was the person that he turned out to be. And as I write in my book, when President Obama said of his relationship where they purchased property together, that it was a boneheaded relationship, looking back with the hindsight of 2020, I call it a stupid relationship. But I never, ever, ever violated any law. I never considered violating a law, much less intended to violate any law. And the truth, Mike, is in those tapes.
We're going to come back, Rod, with you and with Patti. I want to talk to you some more about what really took place and a couple of questions I want to ask. I don't think you've been asked before, and I'm anxious to get an answer to these that I think may be very interesting. Well, Rod says one of the reasons he wrote the book is because his family needs the money, but a new law would force them to surrender any profits if the former governor is convicted next year. Coming up, we're going to ask Rod and Patti what they're going to do if that ends up happening. We'll be right back.
Outraged Americans take